Hey guys, what's up? Mooney B123 here with you today. This channel is primarily about my fascination for Android smartphones. At this particular point in my life. So what I wanted to do today is I kind of wanted to give you a kind of a history of where I come from, especially on my devices. If you read the description on my channel, I kind of talk about where I've come from on this. So I just want to kind of go through today and just kind of give you a history of where I come from on my devices. So my love of electronics, especially as far as it goes for what we're talking about today, really started with PDAs, with personal digital assistants. And there was a debate for a while between people who thought that a PDA should be by itself, and then there was people who were on the side that phones should be included in a PDA. And I was on the PDA side of that for a long time. I don't know why. I just thought that they should be kept separate. That I don't want to be mixing them up. I was wrong, and everybody on that side of the argument was wrong. So phones definitely needed to be included in PDAs. There's no reason to carry around two devices. And even if you are a person who still thinks that PDAs should be by themselves, you're kind of out of luck because it don't happen too much anymore. So anyways, where I started on this, like I said, is with PDAs. And so I started off with PDAs that ran the Palm OS. So the very first one that I got was a Palm TX. And I don't have that one anymore. I sold it a long time ago. But I still have a few of these, and I want to show you some of these. So this first one is a Sony Clee or Clee. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Honestly, this thing has never worked. I bought it off eBay, and I was hoping that it would work, hoping I could get it fixed, and it's just dead. Just nothing I could do, and my wife was not too happy about that one. But this is one of the ones that's kind of in a grayscale or something like that, not a color screen at all. So anyways, that one never worked, never used it, sat in my drawer this whole time. This is the Palm Zyre 71. I used this a little bit, but mainly this was my wife's. She used this, and this was a pretty good little PDA. Kind of reminiscent of the one I just showed you there, where you still could write down here. But this was a pretty good little PDA. All right, so I'm just gonna show you all three of these together. My trios. So obviously this is PDA mixed with the smartphone. This is these are all Palm powered. Palm OS. And I like these pretty good. One thing that I really liked about these was the way the buttons are on here. You could, and all these buttons right here for running like a NES emulator, especially as I was playing like Mario 3. This thing was awesome. I mean, I could do everything. I could play this like I was nearly playing on a standard Nintendo controller. This thing was awesome for running emulators because of all these buttons. You could do all kinds of stuff with that, and not have on-screen buttons, and you could actually feel the buttons moving. Now, those are just a few of the Palm OS PDAs and smartphones that I had. And what I'm showing you today is probably not even all the ones I have in my house. And then that doesn't include the ones that I've sold on eBay, that I've given to family and friends and all kinds of stuff. So I've had tons. There's no telling how many PDAs that I've had. So that was just a few of the Palm OS ones, and I had the Tungsten C, which was a smartphone one also. Like I said, I had the Palm TX. I can't remember all the other ones that I had that were Palm OS. So I stayed with Palm OS for I don't know how long, but for a while, and really enjoyed using that and getting all the little programs you could put on there and getting emulators and all that kind of stuff. So once Palm started to kind of fade away, well, I guess it was really even before they really started to fade away, I got over into the Windows Mobile platform. And one of the reasons for that is because of how many different manufacturers were using the Windows platform in their PDAs and in their phones. You know, it's just like standard Windows. You have so many manufacturers who use Windows, Samsung and HP and Lenovo and going on and on and on forever with all these different manufacturers. And well, same thing was true of their PDAs and smartphones. You had all these different manufacturers making this stuff. And so that really excited me because I saw this huge world. Whereas, you know, with Palm, it was just them making their hardware kind of like Apple. So I definitely, that's what drew me to the Windows mobile platform was this huge number of devices that ran that. So let me show you some of those. This is one of the first ones that I got. This is an HP iPAQ 1910 or 1900. I don't remember the exact number on this thing. This thing was okay. It wasn't the greatest little PDA. Let's see here. Let's just go to the top. This thing right here was the best Windows Mobile that used Windows Mobile 5, Windows Mobile 6. This thing right here rocked. This is the Dell Axum X51V. That thing was awesome. I had the X50, X50V, but this thing right here really was the pinnacle. There was another one I had. It was the HP iPAQ. I think it was 2495 was the model number on it, and that thing was pretty sweet also. But this one right here is the one that I ended up keeping, and this is the one that it don't even have a battery. I don't even think I know where the battery's at for this thing, but I bet I could find one for cheap. But anyways, this thing was awesome. It took a CF card, and so you could get a whole bunch of storage on there and get very, very reliable storage. And that's one thing I learned as I went through all those different PDAs and things is don't buy cheap, generic Chinese-made SD cards or CF cards or any storage cards. If you do that, you're going to get bit. And I did several times, and I finally learned my lesson. I try to live. If I can buy something cheaper, I do. But I've learned with SD cards, don't do it. You'll get bit. You'll buy something, and it won't work. It'll corrupt easy. It may not even ever work in the first place. But anyways, that's the reason this was awesome, is because most CF cards you got were pretty good, rock solid, and they did not corrupt very easily. So this was a pretty good PDA. So all the ones that I've shown you, and several more that I'm going to show you, all these were still resistive touchscreens. That's where there's two layers, and those two layers have to be mashed together to register a touch. And so that's why, and I don't have my stylus, but you actually had to physically push it hard enough for those two layers to meet, and that's why the screens on these weren't near as good. So all these have been resistive touch screens that I've showed you so far. Okay, let's see here. So I think all the rest of these I'm going to show you are going to be smartphones. So this one I think is Samsung, but I think it was an i9 9000 maybe. I can't remember exactly. This thing was a piece of junk. I did not like this thing. I used it for a while, and I stayed with it because I spent so much money on it, but this thing was terrible. This is one I had even before that thing, and I don't remember. This is like an HP iPAQ 6900 or 6950. I can't remember. Maybe something, maybe even totally different than that. I don't remember, but this was a decent little phone. They had HP put this one out, and then the one that was just the step above was pretty good. I mean, at the time, these were pretty good little smartphones to use. And you can see on this one, it has like a full SD card slot, and it also had a mini SD card slot. So it was a pretty cool little phone. Here's an HTC one. This is a PPC 6800. I don't remember what its name was. I can't remember. But anyways, it was a pretty good little phone. Has a little slide-out keyboard. This one was pretty good. So I also want to say that I have tried out some of the newer Windows mobile platform, Windows phones. This one runs 7, I think, Windows Mobile 7. And I do like the new Windows phones. I think they're nice phones. And of course, I know this is definitely not the best hardware to be testing one out on. This is one of the early Windows phones, their new Windows Phone platform. I like that platform. It's very good for simplicity and just nice, smooth platform. But I moved away from the Windows mobile and Windows phone platform, and this was the first one I got. First Android phone I got when I moved away from there. It says an HTC Aris, and you can see how it's branded with Google. So I think the very first Android phone was the T-Mobile G1. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, and then there was the other one for Verizon, the original Motorola Droid. And I've had a couple of those and used them, but this is the very first Android phone that I had. And I guarantee you, I spent tons of time with this little sucker. Learning how to root it, how to mod it, how to put on custom ROMs, learning how to do ADB commands, all kinds of stuff that I learned for Android that I learned on this thing. And with all of these PDAs and phones and all that, there's no telling how many hours I've spent on XDA learning about these, learning how to, like I said, how to root them, how to ROM them, well, the Androids, and how to hack and modify all those other ones. But this was my first Android phone. This was a pretty cool little thing. I remember whenever, what was it? There was something where you had to take the card out and put the battery in or something, and you had to do it like you had like half a second to get this done in the exact order to try to root it or something. I don't remember what they were trying to do. But I remember so many guys spending so much time trying to do that on this little sucker. And I remember I was sat there and I read through the forums on that, read on XDA, the thread where people were doing that. And I had gotten lucky, and I don't remember, again, it's been so long, but somehow I was already upgraded to where I didn't have to worry about that. But definitely learned a lot on that. Okay, so right here is my Samsung Galaxy S Captivates for AT&T, and I've made a lot of videos with this little guy. And in fact, this is really where I started making a lot of my YouTube videos, was with this one right here. This phone rocks. This phone just works. This phone right now is running 4.4.2 KitKat on it, and I don't remember how old it is, 2 or 3 years old. And this thing can still hang. This little phone right here is awesome. I don't care what happens, what all I have to sell, whatever. I'm never selling this phone. This phone rocks. It's definitely staying with me. And lots of the Android phones that I've had, I've sold or on eBay or given them to family, my mom or dad or brother or friends or whatever. So I don't have a lot of Android phones. But this is another one. This is the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. I used this phone for a little while. My wife used it for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. This is a pretty sweet little phone. Now this belongs to my son. He doesn't have a cell phone plan or anything, but he uses it kind of like an iPod and playing Angry Birds and Swordigo, or however you say that, and all the different games. So these are 2 phones now. This is my wife's phone now, and then this one's mine. So this is the original Samsung Galaxy Note. Got quite a few videos on this guy, and I'll continue to make videos. I mean, I'll for the Captivate also, but also for this Samsung Galaxy Note 1, I'll be still making videos, and then this thing right here, the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. This phone right here is definitely the best phone I've ever had. I was looking to buy my wife a new phone, and I was debating between Moto X, the Nexus 5, several different phones, and I bought her a Note 2 also, and it's going to be here in a few days. But that says something, because if you see all the different phones that I have and PDAs, you can see that I like to have and play with different phones. And I would have loved to have bought a Nexus 5 to be able to check it out, because I know it's a sweet phone. So it says something that I bought my wife a Note 2 also instead of buying that Nexus 5, because I really, really would like to have bought that and been able to mess around with it. But I thought, if I'm going to get my wife the best thing possible that I can afford, it's going to be a Note 2. And that's what I got her. So that says something about this Note 2. It is a sweet phone. This thing just hums, got a quad-core processor. This thing definitely rocks, and definitely be making a lot more videos on this. And then I got, oh, whoops, that's not a phone. So one thing I wanted to say before I stop today is I don't have an iPhone. I mean, I bought an iPhone for my mom because I'm not an Apple hater, and that's the point I want to make. I'm not an Apple hater. Okay, Apple TV. My iPad. I've got several iPods. I didn't bring those down here, but anyways, I'm just wanted to throw that out. I'm not an Apple hater. Their stuff is pretty slick. It's just like I've heard a lot of times. You're in the walled garden. It's beautiful until you realize you can't get out. And anyways, that's why I like Android is because of how open it is. Although that's kind of starting to close down, like with the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. They're starting to kind of tighten down on some of that stuff, and I don't like that. But for now, this phone's going to be good for a long time, and it's definitely where I can do whatever I want to with it and get the latest version of Android on it. I appreciate all of y'all watching. At this point, I've got about 1,500 subscribers, and I appreciate that, and I hope that the videos that I make are beneficial, and that they help you, and that they're as easy to follow as possible. I'm a teacher by trade, and I hope that whenever I teach on video also that it comes across and that I'm able to express my point. If you follow my channel, there's probably not many people who follow my channel, I guess, but if you watch my channel at all, you'll see that I kind of go in groups, and I really would like to make my videos on a more regular basis, but at this point in my life is insane. It's crazy. With work and with my family, it's just insane at this point in my life. So that's kind of the way it happens, and like I said, I'd really like to try to do more along and not do a bunch and then wait a month or two before I put out some more. But also at the same time, I don't just want to put out videos just to put out videos. I want to put out videos that mean something. And so that's why, like, a lot of times, like whenever Kit Kat came out, I made a whole bunch of videos about that, because then that's whenever started getting where it became available for the Captivate, and became available for the Note 1, available for the Note 2. And I was making videos about that because that was a huge upgrade and was worth me making a video on that. So anyways, appreciate you watching my channel. And again, I hope that the things that I present to you make it easy, and where you can make your phones run more smoothly. You know, as I made these videos, I never intended on really having a channel, making a YouTube channel at all. I mean, that was never my thinking. I've always done all this hacking and modding to my phones just because it's something I enjoyed doing. And so anyways, just from my fascination with that, it just kind of led to me making the videos. It wasn't me trying to find something to make videos about. It was a natural progression from that to me making the videos that I make about this. So anyways, thanks for watching today, and keep watching for my channel, and I'll be putting more stuff out. Appreciate it. Have a good day.